Welcome back, everyone, to Texas Motor Speedway for today's coverage of the Mumbai Falcons Indian Sim Racing League in association with Volkswagen Motorsport India. It was an interesting first race of round number 4 for those who tuned in for that. After crashes in the first lap entering the infield section, shook up the field, Abdul Azim dominated and led every single lap for his first ever round victory on the campaign. I'd like to remind you that Mumbai Falcons are the title sponsor of this series. Mumbai Falcons envision to build a futuristic hub aided by a racetrack which will serve as a multi-platform environment for innovative auto-related companies, provide educational experience in a plethora of related fields, and provide a wholesome family experience. Many of those sponsors watching along today to see how race number 2 fares out after an interesting start to said round today. Carly Abzim is the quickest driver in practice as well with the 1:12.466. In sim time, 8:19 a.m. at the moment, and it's iRacing day. For those who don't know, the iRacing default day for when you start a session is May the 15th, 2020 for any track that is in the Northern Hemisphere. As it is today, 15th, it is iRacing day. These drivers all set to go. And it also just so happens to be Austrian Independence Day here with under 3 minutes to go in this practice session. It's going to be interesting how these drivers fare with the invert once again. Currently, it's projected that Devian Dudia will start at the head of the field for the rolling start for race number 2 of round 4. Many drivers like Abdul Fattah are looking to rebound after they had their back wings fall off during contact throughout the day. In race number 1, others in that same boat, Selma will, and also as well technically put in a couple others in that same grouping after some of the club in that last race. Before we make his way around the racetrack and joining us here in the broadcast booth, Ahmed Kuti, currently running 4th in practice, had an interesting first race, similar to what happened in the last round. Ahmed, talk us through what happened from your perspective in race number 1 of round 4.
Yeah, so basically in race number 1, in turn 1, I think there was a incident in turn 1. Someone tapped me and I pushed Sai Prithvi outside, and I got a lot of damage hitting a tire barrier. So I had to pit for damage, and when I joined the safety car, someone spun in front of me and crashed, and I got a penalty for that even though it was their mistake. So I had to serve a 30-second penalty stop go, and that pretty much ruined my race. So yeah, I couldn't do anything about that.
Well, that's unfortunate with the penalty there you mentioned. That's the first time we realized that was the case there, but now what's kind of the goal to try and recover? Because last race, we talked about it, it was jumping the start. Got a good position, though, for the invert for race 2. Now, with the incidents that happened in race 1, you're in a similar situation. What's your strategy to try and come away with the victory in race 2 and gain some good points for the finale?
Yeah, so pretty much I know that I can go faster than the people ahead of me. I just had to be really careful for the first lap and not take any not involved in any incidents. If I don't, and I'm still in around P4 or top 3 or top 5, I think I have the pace to catch on to the top guys and overtake them. So damage limitation is key.
But you focus on running your car around the racetrack. Your phone Rakib, in fact, as you're about to take the grid. Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Would you join us in the broadcast booth as practice is now over? 20 minutes of racing action again from Texas Motor Speedway. To recap, it's the pre-repaved version of Texas with 24 degrees of banking in the corners, 10 total turns for the road course section of the circuit, similar to how it is post-repave as well. 3.67 kilometers, 2.28 miles. The infield section being a tricky one. Before we get to the starting grid for today, we'll actually bring in our guest driver for today. He's getting ready for what should be an interesting start for today's action and what should be an entertaining race number 2. We'll talk with him real quickly here Jeffrey Kruger joins the broadcast booth. Jeff, do you have a copy? Jeffrey Kruger, do you have a copy, sir? Apparently we do not, as he is focused solely on racing for today, the safety car period. He'll be starting in 14th. As mentioned, Dipion Dudia is the man who is at the top of the pylon after the invert. Jabe Alamed starting in 2nd position, Raymond Summerwell in 3rd, Wahit Road in 4th, Emmett Kuti in 5th position, Abdul Fatah in 6th, Abdul Rakib in 7th, Hit Rober starts in 7th, Glenn Kaushik starts in 9th, Rajat Ideb in key number 10, Saifat Ray starts in 11th, Abdul Abzib rounds out the top 12, as you see now on your screen. Drivers outside the invert include Typekash and Nand, along with Kruger, Gupta, Lama, Mohan Raja, Kotandia, Abdul Hadi, the 19 drivers who took in practice times. Dur starts in 20th. Sunil Kokte did not make it to the starting grid in the last race. He will take part, however, in race 2 of the round. So once again, a very difficult infield section here, as a couple drivers touched upon here, especially with some of the bumps and a little bit of the elevation changes in this section. Especially when it comes to that section going from full speed to hard braking to avoid the tire barriers and make the hard left-hander to the section. Their tricky section here is the quick left-right the cars are going through now. An eNASCAR Ignite Series game here a couple of years ago, a couple drivers had spun around in their Legends cars in that same area multiple times. Same goes for right here. Our braking longer apex corner that goes from tight apex to longer apex for the corner exit, where they rumble their way towards the oval section with the sharp left-hander once more. This is where the most confident drivers gained a lot of time in race number 1. When the 57 of the Cybertree, we also seen the one machine gain from time in that same section. One driver did elect to start in the pit lane here for this. Check that. Is indeed a track part of me. Either way, every single driver has made their way to the racetrack for today, for race number 2. Safety car all set to peel off the racetrack. Dudia in control of the field. Green flag is out. We're underway from Texas. Dudia drives his way down to the apron in turn 1. Element trying to follow the same. Summerwell and Kuti with good starts as well for side-by-side for P5. Shuffling around into the first infield turn and multiple cars colliding. 4 different drivers sliding off. Alamed involved, Summerwell involved, Rakib involved as well. Kadur also was sent off in the process. No safety car. And then also was spun out just after turn 3. You can see significant suspension damage right behind some of these cars on the racetrack. While others, such as Fatah, ran off and away from the craziness. Dudia still in the class lead at the moment. Fatah in 2nd. Crash for 3rd. Grover's been hit in the left rear tire. Sent off the track. More cars following on by. 3, 4 drivers spinning. Kruger involved. Hadi involved. Kududia involved. Everyone with horrific luck in this race. Gupta was also in the incident. A crazy start to race number 2 as Fatah makes his way to the race lead on lap number 2. Cypatry, though, who had some of the fastest laps in the race, is a mile trying to close up the gap. Trouble for Dudia moves him up to 2nd spot. More cars continue to spin as this infield section caught Dudia off guard. Seen him snap the car around through the apex of turn 3. Tree takes advantage, moves up to P number 2. 2 seconds behind the leader in Fatah. And Kevin Kolchak is now off the racetrack, the 24. missed the corner in the final section before the infield. Overshot the corner. That allowed Mohan Rajah to move up to 5th. 6th now, Yadev. Lama now up as well, 1 position each, to be able to make a move on the 24 because of that mistake. Disastrous run so far, though, for Kuti, and take a look at the back wing of the 5, if we can here, because, well, there is none. Kuti, with a disastrous round, has just ducked down for pit lane, was right behind Lama on the racetrack, and now has to use a faster pair. This might open up the door for a potential championship scrap for the season finale. Making his scraps. Battle for 6th. Lama outbreaks his man, locks up the left side tires. Taking the spot back is Yadev. Absolute craziness so far. Top 12 drivers have not had to come down to pit for a faster pair so far in this round. Lama, though, wants to take back 6th. Still trying to rip it around the high side. Gets the switch back to the preferred line. Back to the preferred line goes Yadev, though, for the track contact. Side pod contact sends around Yadev. He is stuck off the racetrack without a wing. Take a look. Royer apex that time, and that led to the contact. Hadi was also collected as the 9 of Lama was trying to get going. Lama's back tire demolished, couldn't allow him to turn. Lama spinning, in fact. Attrition continues to build as Fatong continues to now build a 2.5 second lead in a crazy race number 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Zapatri still in 2nd position, was actually 2/10 slower last time by compared to Fatong. Road Start is currently in 3rd, and that's where a position battle is slowly heating up as well, involving Dudia as well as Mohan Rajah just behind him. Rajah, remember, was also in the top 5 after qualifying for the first race. It was involved in one of the first incidences of the race there. Dudia, first-time sim racer entering this season. Considers himself his own rival, his first time in sim racing competitive level. Goal to grow and improve himself. He wants to improve and outdo himself each and every race. He's outdone himself so far in his performance to still hold on to the top 5. Mohan Rajah misses the corner, trying to make a move on him. He'll go back to P. In fact, get passed by Kadur, who has lapped traffic, still hold on to 5th rounder, but still lose a ton of time. Either way. The position battle that is going back and forth is P6. That's what Kalashik has now cycled through. Kutudia trying to make some moves back to single file for the quick left-right. Some of the drivers have talked about the trick to being quick is trying to go as deep in the brakes as much as possible without locking up the tires. That's where confidence comes in for the best of the best drivers. They'll take away a spot that was Mohan Rajah, who had spun around coming into onto the outfield. Had a low apex coming off the corner in the first place. Had a snap of oversteer much of that corner and hit some of the bumps that was talked about in some of the post-race interviews in race 1. Here comes the move from the 41 machine, side by side, trying to get the squeeze. Still trying to go hard to hold on to the 5th place. Dive to the inside. Forces his man off the racing line, takes away the top 5. Katadia with a good pass going into the infield. Approaching 7 minutes on the clock. By the way, Mohan Rajah has cycled to P8 after his spin. And scratches on the front nose cone. Car looks fairly okay. and still looking to close on in after his bad luck in the last race. By the way, Kruger, for those looking to check in, he number 10. That's +4 from his starting position in the one machine in race number 2. He's done an impressive job staying out of a lot of the incidents and keeping his car clean throughout these runs today. However, the gap between him and the car you see here at the end is 16 seconds. 19 though within the slipstream. Handle job. Trying to close up on it in. And it's just about a few car lengths behind Cookday and Co. They make their way around some of the traffic out while letting a bunch of drivers go. The battle for 5th is now heating up. You can see Cookday now within slipstream range with all the scrapping. Was a 1:13.895 in timing last time by. A full second gain on P6, a full half a second gain on this man in the green and white car. Trouble though, inside the infield section, a couple drivers have crashed. Kaushik is now spinning off in the grass. 2 or 3 cars, including Gupta, were involved in an incident. Collected 18th, it was for position with Yadev. Both those drivers now had to take some type of damage. Gupta, see there, lost his back right tire as a result. So as a result of missing the corner and going off the grass, Kaushik has now dropped to 9th position. Mohan and Anand were both able to move on by him after he lost tons of time. Trying to take a wider line through that apron section of the track. 252 kilometers an hour takes the inside line. It'll stick the corner to take back 8th. Entertaining battle amongst these drivers, one of the closest battles on the racetrack at the moment. Kaushik has been very impressive here at Texas. Had a chance for a podium position before he got hit by lap traffic, broke off his back wing. And now he hits someone with his front. Mohan Rajah flipped on it over and then takes advantage. Let's take a look from Mohan Rajah's point of view and Kaushik's point of view. 24 dives it inside. Bye-bye. Trying to play defense, cut off the inside line on the block. Now, put on the tow truck while Kaushik is still going. However, he's able to avoid some of the wing damage potentially, as Anand was able to gain a good 5 seconds in that fight. Speaking of fights, Tadia is gaining time on his fight with Cookday. The gap was as much as 1.5 seconds. Now it's gone to 3 seconds between the 2 cars. All while Fatah continues to dominate up at the front. One of his strongest performances, in fact, fair to say his strongest overall performance this season. He's been comparable pace to his rival all day today here at Texas. Had a chance of a podium if it wasn't for the contact during the safety car period in race 1. And now, he's outpacing in some sections the 57 aside for 3 for P number 2. Tandia also setting 1:13 flats. That's only about a 1/10 of a second or so off the race leader's pace. 15 seconds behind, still trying to close up the gap to Dudia, who is currently running 1:13.4 on his own. The cars in the distance. He's trying to reel on it in. This group that's also within that grouping as well. For that position at the other end of the infield. Kaushik, meanwhile, is trying to focus on recovering time. 6 seconds behind it, and after the contact on his front wing, all while Kuti, who had to use a faster pair, is currently second among those drivers and overall. what is a huge opportunity after what happened in race 1. Problem is, if you're Azim, you also have to use a fast repair because of an incident in this race. He is behind Kuti on the pylon, as you can see, by 7 seconds. The lead might heat up pretty soon for the closing stages of this event. Under 7 minutes to go in a few moments, under 8 to be precise at the moment. Currently a clean race car, but also a clean race car for this man, Cyber 3. Only a 10th of a second quicker last time by. His best section of game time is right here. See the difference, gaining up an extra car length or two with each and every time in the deeper braking zone. The track temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Another crash and and Cook Day have just collided, we are hearing, for P6. Those drivers were fighting pretty hard. They had some contact, and now Cook Day is still going in P6. And N is now 9 to 11 seconds behind. Check that, Summerwell and Cook Day. NNN, rather. So Summerwell having a disastrous round, 17th, collecting one of the lead cars. By the way, new fastest lap, Cypher 3, 1:12.3 last time by, 10th of a second again reeled on in, just outside of the draft of the 7. 5 estimated laps to go this time by, under 6 minutes on the clock. Root's currently in the 3rd position, by the way, 13 seconds back. Dudia in 4th. Katadia rounds out the top 5 as you see Root now joining the oval section right here. He's setting faster times than Dudia, setting faster times than Katadia at the moment. The focus goes up to the front. Now 5 laps to go. Another 3 jets were closed in by Cypher 3, still looking for his first win on the season. Uses all the rumble strips he can, using every single part of the track limits. Gap is about 1.3 seconds. Closed up an hour car length that time on the send through turn number 7. Back through turn 8, back towards NASCAR 3 and 4. Another 10th gained on the braking zone, heading to NASCAR 3 and 4. Still outside the draft, just misses the orange cone for the UPS section. 4 laps to go from Texas. Another new fastest lap, 1:12.345, set by Petrie. His championship rival in Kuti, he's watching his car spin in front of him, just avoiding Kruger for the 8th position. Kruger still in that spot, and looking to try and hold on to set position as the guest driver for today's race. As mentioned for Kruger, for those who missed taking part in today's race, Universal Healthcare sponsored driver, the European and South African Volkswagen champion. It's one of the more intense battles that could shape up in these final few laps of this race. With Kuti trying to recover as many points as he can, especially with Azim just behind him on the totem pole. Up at the front though, out of turn 4, Abdul Fattah making his way through the quad oval. Gap is 1.1 seconds. 3 laps to go from Texas Motor Speedway. Near dead even last time by. Petrie was the quicker of the two, though. Lap traffic is behind our men. We'll have to see if that becomes a factor just behind the back of the 57. Another tenth of a second gain heading to the infield section, back inside the slipstream. And Petrie nearly snaps around the car, overshoots the corner. Too hard on the gas, loses half a second in as a result. Will that cost him the race is the question. 1.6 seconds or so is now the gap after being just 1 second 3 corners ago. Petrie trying to come away with another second place finish on the season, but after winning 4 of the 5 rounds last year, looking not to be the bridesmaid once more. Kuti, meanwhile, he's trying to come home with the top 8, sending it hard coming to 2 laps to go for him on the back end of Kruger. Kruger, the first car who has had to come in for a fast repair this race. He has not had any major incidents, though, throughout this run today. Kuti still with inside the draft, though, coming to the corner oval once more. Reaching more than 250 kilometers an hour for the apron once more. Shedding a lot of speed, though, this time to the bumps. 143 miles an hour. Most drivers are going 146 in that section of miles per hour. Kruger, though, lost some time in the braking section. Kruger going to have to defend for one more lap. White flag has just been taken, under 30 seconds to go on the clock. Final lap from Texas. Kruger still looking in decent shape. Gap between him and Kuti about 9/10 of a second or so. Next spot in front is a good 3 seconds. Petrie, though, trying to gain up any ground he can. Just had to dodge some cars. Still, though, is 1.3 seconds behind. One car in front of the leader. It's Grover letting by the leader and second spot. Traffic no longer a factor. Abdul Fattah. He mentioned his own rival was himself. Entering this round, it's his best performance of the season. It's his first victory of the season. Abdul Fattah wins it at Texas Motor Speedway. Petrie in second. Will hit route coming home in third by about 6 seconds. Oshan Kutudia in fourth after some of the contact we were talking about. That shuffle Dudia back to 5th position. Cook Day in 6th on his own. 7th, and though has been reeled in by Kruger and Kuti. This may become a drag race for P8. Not enough time. If he had one more lap, maybe. Kruger, P8. Anand, P7. Kuti, P9. Kuti gains a couple more points back in front of Azim, who comes home with a top 10. Rounding out 11th is Abdul Hadi. 12th in the drivers on the lead lap, Abdul Rakib. Rest of the field, 1 lap down or more. Grover, Kadur, Samuel, Kaushik, Lama, Yadev, Gupta, Mahanraja, Ahmed round out those drivers. Entertaining one from Texas Motor Speedway, to say the very least. What a wild sequence of events, let's put it that way, in this race. Let's go down the running order. Let's go and speak with first things first. Our guest driver today having a phenomenal second race of the day. See if we can talk with him. Jeffrey Kruger joins us in the broadcast booth. Jeffrey, do you have a copy? Jeffrey Kruger, do you have a copy? Try this one more time. Jeffrey Kruger, do you have a copy, sir?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing good. Glad to have you with us for today's round today. First things first, how are you feeling about how you did today in this race?
Yeah, not too bad. Today was actually the first time seeing the track, and I got my time zones a bit mixed up, so I didn't get a lot of practice in. But no, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Top 10 in the last heat. So yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Indeed, what drew your attention to, or your attraction rather, to compete in today's race in the Mumbai Falcons Indian Sim Racing League in association with Volkswagen Motorsport India?
I was actually asked by one of the Volkswagen personnel, Raymond. He invited me to the league because of my affiliation with Volkswagen in South Africa and somewhat in India. I competed in the Indian series in 2013 and last year as well for a guest race. So we go a long time back, and yeah, I thought it'd be a fun event to do since we can't do any racing around the world currently. So yeah, nice to be out on the track virtually.
Indeed, how would you compare the experience of virtual world in terms of racing compared to the real racing world in terms of racing?
Okay, it has its similarities. Obviously not 100% the same, but the basic principles still apply with the racecraft and the rules and the regulations, which is really, really cool. That's the only thing that I struggle with is the feel. Obviously, you're sitting in a chair and you're turning your steering wheel, and the braking as well, especially in these Formula 3 cars. The brake pedal's really, really sensitive, so you can't just push the brake pedal full down flat. You sort of have to modulate it that way. So I think there's a lot of time in the braking as well. But I mean, other than that, the noises and the racecraft itself, the passing, the defending, that's very much similar to real racing.
Indeed, will we see you again on the racetrack in the near future? If so, where?
Yeah, definitely. If the lockdown or the current worldwide lockdown ends, then hopefully towards the end of the year we can be on track here in South Africa. I'm not sure what the calendar will look like, but yeah, definitely in South Africa. Maybe one day again back in Europe or even India. It'd be really awesome.
Anyone you want to thank for being a part of your run today?
Yeah, big thank you to Raymond. He helped me set up everything, and all the guys that gave me all the information and the car liveries, and it was great. But yeah, thank you to Volkswagen as well for allowing me to be a part of it. And yeah, hopefully I can join in the next round as well. It'd be awesome.
Thank you very much for the time. Thank you for coming on for today's race, and good run in race 2.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers indeed. That was Jeffrey Kruger joining us in the broadcast booth. Finished in 8th today in the guest driver for today's competition, today's round. Let's talk now with the driver who had a stellar race number 2, started in 18th position, finished inside the top 5. Oshan Katadia, rather, I should say, joins the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy, Oshan?
Hi. Yes, I copy.
First things first, how are you feeling coming through the field today and coming away with a top 5?
Yeah, felt insane. Like I just decided, okay, I'm just going to keep off all the crashes. So no matter what, like if I lose 1 or 2 places in the first lap, I'm fine with it. And yeah, I was just very cautious, but in the end, just entering the oval section, I still happened to have contact, but didn't lose much time and didn't have damage. So I continued, and yeah, my lap times also were quick, so I could compete for top 5. It was fun.
It looked fun. Talk about some of the battles you had throughout this field today once you got through some of the craziness in the early going. How was it trying to
Oh,
set up passes and set up battles throughout the day?
yeah. So I think the best battle was with car number 75, Sunil, and with car number 24, Karan Kaushik. And those were insane battles, like side by side action with Karan, especially for 1 or 2 laps. That was, I think, the best highlight I felt. I mean, he was quick in few corners, and I was taking it a bit easy because I didn't want to overcook it because of my past few races where I have not had good finishes. So points were my priority this race. But then eventually I managed to get past him, and then after that I was pushing for a podium finish because I think they were 6 seconds ahead. But yeah, they were quite far away from me.
Next round in the finale, should say, for the season is at Silverstone's 2008 layout. Your thoughts on going to that racetrack?
I am looking forward for that racetrack because I really like Silverstone. I hope that I'll be in top 5 for qualifying, and that's my aim. So because in the end I had set a goal that I want to be in midfield, at least in the final championship. But after the first few races, I've fallen down the grid because in the championship standings because of not finishing the races where I had to. So top 5 is my goal for the final race, and yeah, if I do it, then I'm looking forward to chat with you again.
Indeed. Thank you very much for the time. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Yeah, I really want to thank the organizers and especially you, Justin. You all are doing a terrific job organizing this in these hard times. So a big thank you to you all.
Thank you very much for the time. Congratulations on the top 5 run in race 2.
Yep, thank you.
Oshan Katadia coming home with P4 in race number 2.
Okay, reacted
And
quickly
we'll
and
see now with Amit Kuti. He was just talking, in fact, with one of his fellow competitors, in fact, as well. I also had a good run. We'll join him in a second as well. But Amit, first things first, interesting race number 2. How are you feeling after this one?
I'm not feeling that great. I made a really big mistake, I guess. At the end of the infield section, I was following someone. They broke a bit early. Reacting to that, I just pressed my brake, locked up, and spun and hit the tire barrier. So I got damaged and spun again and went into the pit lane. From there was just a recovery. Tried to push a lot and recovered to ninth place. And I guess I just have to give my best for the next race because the gap is now really small in the championship.
Yeah, we're just discussing a little bit between us here in the broadcast crew and that how much pressure now is there now in the championship battle, especially since in race 1, Azim came away with a victory. You gained a couple points back in race number 2, but it still is within a race or so for the final round of the season.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just have to practice a lot tomorrow and day after and try to get a good result, qualify in pole, hopefully, and try to win. Just not get involved in any incidents like today.
Indeed, the next race for the finale is at Silverstone's 2008 layout. What are your thoughts on Silverstone's older layout prior to their renovations?
Yeah, I actually like it. It's a nice set of corners in the old layout. I'm actually happy because Silverstone is final. It's a good circuit to end the season with, so it should be good.
Anyone you want to thank for being part of your P9 run and race too?
Yeah, thank you for commentating.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Congratulations on the top 10 run in race number 2. Good luck for the season finale.
Yep, thank you.
Kuti coming home in 9th in race 2. Bad round for him, unfortunately. Last driver will now join us in the broadcast booth. He had a decent run in race 1. Najib Alamed, do you have a copy this time, sir?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, indeed. You started second in race number 2. What happened in the race, though? You finished 6 laps down in 21st.
So I was going to the T1. I went wide because I saw people coming into me. So I left space wide enough for car number 64, must be Raymond. But then 2 cars rammed into him and took me out as well.
What was kind of going through your head after you took the faster pair and tried to recover as best you could?
Well, I was just trying to keep out of the leaders because they were fighting for positions. So I just wanted to finish the race wherever I could.
What makes Texas Motor Speedway, in your opinion, so tricky, especially the road course? Because it was talked about by a couple after race 1. The infield was difficult. And I believe we just lost him. Unfortunately, we just lost connection, fortunately, with him in 21st position. Apologies for Najib Ahmed on his behalf in that scenario. I have one more driver that's dropped by, and we'll see if we can speak with him. Divion Dudia, do you have a copy? Try us one more time. Yes, we can.
Hey, thank you, Justin. It's amazing to have you on board.
Real quickly, first things first, start on the pole with the invert in race number 2. How was it, in your opinion, this race to try and hold on to a top 5 run?
To be honest, at the start I was a bit nervous. I know there were a few fast guys on this track. I probably need to practice time. Then the first pole position makes things a little bit worse. But anyways, I forgot to change my brake bias that kept me spinning. I lost 3 positions and then I took it off my pace. After I guess 3 or so laps, I changed my bias and that's how I kept my pace.
And having a hard time with the technical issue. Apologies there to hear you completely. We apologize there, Divion. Thank you very much, though, for stopping by to the broadcast booth to take time to speak with us.
Thank you so much.
Divion Dudia coming home with the top 5 today, his best run of the campaign. But with that, it's time to say goodbye. Once again, the season finale will take place this Sunday, May the 17th, at Silverstone Circuit's 2008 layout. Be sure to tune in. Starts at about 9:10 p.m. IST. That is 11:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Should be a wild one and should be an interesting one. We'd also like to thank our sponsors in the Mumbai Falcons and Volkswagen Motorsport India for what was a competitive race, as well as the series organizers ISRL Sports for the Indian Sim Racing League. But for my producer today in Saura, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. We'll see you for the season finale this Sunday.